Okay, so now going to some kind of some business talk with you. So you obviously are the chief operating officer of the Eastside Elite Hockey League, and the league was established in 2008. ESE was expanded a lot since then, and last summer you guys ran a Toronto Elite League for the first time, where you guys created four teams of nearly 50 players, featured from the NHL, AHL, Europe, and junior hockey, and college and university. You were actually managing the Toronto division of the league. How did you get involved with ESE?
Yeah. So Steve Alexi and I played together last year on the Marlies, and I was hurt, and Steve was also hurt, and we weren't playing. So we were spending some time together, watching the games or at the rink, doing rehab and stuff like that. And um, kind of got to talking about it, and he asked if he's been trying to come up to Toronto for a few years now, but he hasn't found the right fit of who could do it or who would want to do it. And we had a couple meetings, and he asked me if I would want to kind of take it on. And at the time, I had just enrolled into school as well. I just enrolled in Athabasca for a business program. So I thought to myself, it's a business opportunity where I don't need to invest anything other than time and effort. So since I'm kind of doing this in school, I might as well get a little free experience here and help with the expansion to Toronto. So basically, what I did was kind of went through my contact list, Instagram and Twitter, and just all the guys that I knew, and kind of told them that, hey, we're going to start up this. Steve's been doing it in Michigan. We're going to start doing it in Toronto now. And if there's any interest in playing, and to spread the word. And we got, I would say, about 40 guys to maybe 50 who played, and there was some bumps in the road, but I think most of the guys got the sense of what we were trying to accomplish with it, and I think they all enjoyed it. And it was fun to see all the guys come together who have maybe played together in the past or knew each other from one way or another in the past, and come back and kind of rekindle old friendships or old conversations, tell some stories in the room. And so it was, and obviously this summer there's a lot of uncertainty as to if we're going to be able to do something like that with what's going on right now. But it was, it seems like we're generating a little more interest from guys who want to play. And one thing I've been trying to do with the time off now is kind of reach out to more local businesses and see if they'd have any interest in sponsoring or doing some kind of partnership with us. And from our point of view, it adds legitimacy to us if we can partner with strong local brands who can benefit from being affiliated with hockey players in some type of way. And so and the more sponsors we can bring in, the more we can provide for our players as far as amenities. And so it's done a great job in Michigan, and Steve's done a great job of building it. He's kind of handed me the keys to Toronto, and obviously we work together on it. But I figure if I was gonna take some school courses in the business category, and someone offered me kind of the keys to a business where all you have to do is invest some time and effort, then it was something that I was interested in, and something that would be a good idea to try and sink my teeth into, especially when you have some downtime during the season, or in the summer.
That's great that you took advantage of that opportunity. Stephen Alexi, he originally started the ESE, and I'm pretty sure he was one of the key assets that the Leafs traded you for from the Pittsburgh Penguins a few years ago, wasn't he? So that's kind of ironic. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is pretty funny, and it's funny because we actually met when we got traded. I was on my way out. I had went to go pick up my gear at the arena, and he was coming in because he had to get there really quick because they had a game, a school day game, an 11 a.m. game that day. So I had to go to the rink early. He had to come to the rink early, and we met for a few seconds there. And then he got traded to us from San Diego to the Marlies last season, and we met again. So it was it kind of took off from there, and then now we're kind of in touch every day, every few days to talk about the league, and obviously there's a little uncertainty now, but see how we can build it.
I think it's a really great idea, by the way, that you guys are expanding into Toronto now. There's not really any big summer pro leagues that I've ever heard of in the GTA and Southern Ontario, so to speak. But there's definitely a lot of great hockey players from the area, and a lot of hockey players spend their summers here. How did that Toronto Elite League trial run go? And do you think like you guys are? Is this like a certain thing that you guys are going to go through and continue in the future?
I think it's something we're going to keep trying to build, and I think the trial went pretty good. There's a few obstacles that we found. Like the one was location is tough because it's such a spread out city. You have people north of the city, east, west, downtown. There's just so to find a central location that fit everyone's needs was difficult because so we did it in Etobicoke, and it was tough to get some of the guys that were living in the Pickering, Whitby area or the Burlington area. So that was tough. But then if you go too far east or too far west, then you lose maybe some of the central guys. So we really just tried to pick a central location. And then another thing was the time of day where we're going to play. And a lot of guys like the earlier afternoon time slot. And obviously that means that rinks are less busy, a little quieter. Guys can kind of come and go as they please, and they're not getting, hounded in and out of the arena. And that's fine for us because we're not really. It's for the players. You know what I mean? It's not for me or Steve. It's for us to provide a safe, fun environment for guys to keep sharp. Play some kind of loose hockey that isn't as structured and isn't as regimented as you would play during the season. And, during a season, there's so many things that are out of your control. What systems you play, how your ice time is, who you play with. There's so many things. The list goes on. But with this, you can tell us who you want to play with, who you want to be on your team. And Steve and I are easy. Like if guys come to us and say, hey, like 3:00, it doesn't work for us. Can we try like a noon game or a 1:00 game? Like, hey, we're going to do it for you because it's for you guys. It's for us. It's for, we want to have our own kind of sense of hockey community with it. So, obviously like my challenges were location and even just kind of recruiting and getting the word out to guys that like, hey, like this is something that, it's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. You get to play with your buddies. And so that's just kind of what we have to do now is just kind of keep getting the word out. And the more guys that play, and word of mouth is so important. If one guy tells another guy and more guys hear about it, that, it's enjoyable. You have a lot of control over the things involved. And so that's what we want. We just want guys to enjoy it. I think that's our goal. And we want to be a safe and fun place for guys to, to have some fun playing hockey, because sometimes during a season, there's some days where, it turns into a grind and it gets hard on you. And this is a good way to kind of remind everyone that there's the fun kind of way, you grew up playing hockey with your buddies and, where things are a little more loose.
Yeah, that's great. I know you mentioned that this is a league kind of for the players, but you guys you've raised money for charities as well. I know that through your All-Star game, I believe you have like fans come out obviously and buying tickets and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure you guys donate majority of that money to a charity of your choice. And I think you guys also run golf tournaments as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Steve has obviously done a good job building it in Michigan, and it's not something he did right away, but eventually he got to the point where, so he did the games, obviously closed doors. So no selling tickets to fans. This is for you guys. go play, have fun. We'll get the sponsored jerseys, we'll get some partnerships for the players. But as far as fans, it's kind of like it's for the players to kind of do stuff. But in saying that, then what we want to do is have one night where we do an all-star game and where we can kind of give back and pick some local charities. And I don't know if we'll be able to do it in Toronto this season, but at some point we will be doing it in Toronto where we have an all-star game, we sell tickets, and we raise some money for charity. And so Steve's done the golf tournament in Michigan. He does the 3-on-3 all-star night in Michigan, and I'm sure you guys saw that unreal shootout goal from Antonio Stranges.
Yeah.
So that was at the ESE All-Star game in Michigan. And something else we've also talked about is potentially doing a Michigan versus Toronto game.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, and I think there would be some incentive for the Michigan guys to come up to Toronto because Toronto in the summers, it's a happening city. There's a lot to do, and it would be a fun trip for those guys. So there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential with it, and we want to use it as a platform to do some good as well.